Welcome to Library Connection. I'm Mandy Cantrell from the B.B. Comer Memorial Library here in Sylacauga. Before I get started, I want to thank TV47 and Chris and all the people here who help us put our program on. This one I'm very excited about. You may have been reading about the broods of cicadas that will be coming our way in just a few weeks. So I invited Meredith Shrader. You're an insect diagnostician with the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Insect diagnostician, is that just a fancy word for an entomologist? Am I saying that right?
Kind of. It is. I'm an entomologist by trade, but being an insect diagnostician, my specialty is actually the identification of the insect.
Okay.
And then taking that ID, I get back to whoever submitted it and let them know control measures,
Yes.
what it is, if it's a good guy or a pest
Okay.
insect, and we kind of go from there after I establish what it is, which
Wow.
is really what people want to know.
They do. Well, I'm so glad you're here with us today. You've come from Auburn this morning.
I
right?
have.
Yeah.
It was a lovely drive.
Good, good. Well, tell our audience what your position is. I know we talked some about it, but what else do you do with the Cooperative Extension System?
Well, my main focus is dealing with stakeholders. People from all over Auburn and the state of Alabama can submit samples to me. And as I said before, I help identify the insects and get back to nursery owners. Government agencies like the Department of Ag will also submit samples to me to make sure that we don't have any of those invasive pests coming into our area. And I deal a lot with the extension agents themselves, which deal directly with the public.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of one of the cogs in the wheel to get information out to people who need it.
Right. And so you're an entomologist.
Yes.
What is that? The study of bugs is
Yes.
what I would say, but I know
Yes.
there's more to it.
The entomology, it is the study of insects, and it has many facets. So there could be people that do urban entomology, which deal with cockroaches and bed bugs.
Yes. Ooh.
And then there's forestry entomology that deals with pine beetles and spotted lanternflies, and then agriculture, home grounds. So any type of interaction that a human or the environment that we live in intersects with an insect, you will find an entomologist.
Wow. And so you have your degree, you have a PhD, is
I
that
do.
correct?
I have a PhD from Virginia Tech in entomology. So I'm an Auburn transplant. I'm, I root for the Tigers.
Yay. Wow.
But it's been nice. It's been nice being here. I've been here 4 years.
Okay, good, good. Well, we're welcome to Alabama.
Yes.
Great. Well, we're going to talk about the cicadas. What is all this talk and all I've read about the cicadas?
Yes, and this is the big one. This is what we call the periodical cicada.
Okay.
And this only happens every 13 years.
Okay.
So there are people that are teenagers that have never experienced this event.
Right.
And we will be experiencing brood 19.
Okay.
And a brood is just a way of saying a large group emerging all at once, or group being together, young, coming out at once.
Coming out at one time. Wow.
Yes, and in the United States, we have over 20 different broods across the United States.
Oh, okay.
So, but we're specifically dealing with brood 19.
I've read there are 2 broods that are going to emerge, but only one will be in our area.
That's correct. It's kind of a historical event. This hasn't happened since 1803.
Oh, gosh.
I believe back when Thomas Jefferson was president. But it's brood 19, which we will be experiencing, and then brood 13, which is in Illinois, that area of the United States. And it's a 17-year cicada. So that's what makes this unique, is you have a 13-year cicada brood emerging right next to, in a geographic location, to a 17-year brood. And so that hasn't happened in a while. And so people are excited, just one, about the number that we're going to be seeing across the United States. And then the fact that you have these different species intermingling.
Oh, be here at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
And so what will that look like? Are they going to create a separate brood that'll emerge at a different time between those two? And so people tend to nerd out a little bit as far as the entomologists go about things like that. So.
Well, kind of explain about the life cycle of a cicada, how that works.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with the female cicada first. And she will oviposit eggs, which just means lay eggs into green wood. They prefer pencil size wood on ornamentals, and she will kind of take her little egg layer and stick it into the tree, and she'll deposit eggs. Those eggs will then hatch, fall from the tree into the ground.
Okay.
And then the little cicada nymph will go into the ground and then start feeding on the tree roots.
Okay.
And then it'll spend a significant amount of time there feeding on the tree. It won't feed the whole 13 years that it's there.
Okay. Yeah.
But then in 13 years, it will come out of the ground and then climb up, and it'll attach itself to a tree or a brick building or something that's a vertical structure. And then most people are familiar with with the annual cicada. It kind of looks like an alien, a brown paper alien on the side of a tree, and you can take it off, and it has really raptorial forearms, but that's just the exoskeleton of the nymph. And so it breaks open its exoskeleton and then emerges as this beautiful winged insect. So it's a really wonderful transformation, quite like a butterfly would do.
Yes.
But it goes from this alien creature into the winged cicada that we all see. Wow. And the reason we don't see the cicadas coming out of the ground is it usually happens around 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. And most of my family and friends are going to be asleep.
Oh,
and
yes, me too.
So
yes.
I might plan on waking up for this special event and going out, much like people will go out and look at shooting stars.
Oh, yes.
This will be,
that.
yes.
Get up in the middle of the night and lie on my
lie on your back, and this time you can wake up and go take a flashlight and start looking at trees up and down.
Wow, that is interesting. Well, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Meredith.
Bandits Bar and Grill is your stop for great food, family fun, and live music. Wednesday night is Cornhole Tournament. Thursday night, Biker Night. Don't forget about the live music too. Great steaks, full bar, awesome appetizers, wings, nachos, tacos, and fried catfish. Stop in today or give us a call at 256-369-2920. That's Bandits Bar and Grill on Fort Williams in Sylacauga.
Bonanza, the famous Western television series, is now on WOIL TV 47. Join Little Joe, Hoss, Adam, and Ben Cartwright on the Ponderosa every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Fist fighting, chicken chasing, gunslinging, and more. Join us for Coffee and Bonanza every weekday morning at 8 a.m. on TV 47.
A funeral service represents a family's final farewell to their loved ones. Knowing this, we go beyond what is expected to ensure the ceremony is beautiful and memorable, a truly fitting tribute to that special life. We invite you to visit us to meet our staff and tour our renovated facility complete with a new dining area and catering services. We've been serving the people of this area for over 40 years, and we think that you'll be pleased to find that making lasting impressions remains our first priority. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.
Hi, welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Meredith Shrader, who is an entomologist with Auburn University and the Cooperative Extension Service. You help a lot of people, I know. That's great. Well, we were talking about the cicadas that were coming out. When will this happen? About, yes. There's no specific time point, but they should start popping out here at the end of April, beginning of May.
They do have a cue within their bodies that's set to warm temperatures.
Okay.
So we have to wait till the ground gets warm, and then it'll wake them up, and then we should start seeing them. So here, just in a little bit. So
Not too long
not
from
too far
now.
away.
Well, this sounds like something scary, but is it anything we need to be afraid of? I mean, how many will be, or do you know? I know you don't know how many, but we could look at hundreds.
Hundreds, maybe thousands in a given location.
Wow.
Millions across
Wow.
a region or area. So
Yes.
this is going to be an exciting event. Not to worry, it's not the bug apocalypse. It will be
haven't heard that.
fine. They don't suck blood. They're
That's so
pretty
funny.
harmless to animals, humans. But in a given area, you might see several hundred. Some people might not see any. If
okay.
you look on the regional map with the Forest Service, you can kind of see a band across Alabama.
Okay.
There is some bias with maps, though, because there's an area that gets marked as having them because somebody reported them.
Oh.
So there might be patches, along that area that have them, but their county isn't red, and they're like, well, we shouldn't have them. The county isn't red. And I'm like, insects don't abide by borders.
Right.
They go wherever they feel
If
like.
nobody
So-
reports them,
and
then
if nobody cares enough to say something, then
Right.
and you can, and people will be reporting these on iNaturalist is a good web page that you can
iNaturalist, okay.
report and take pictures and submit. So
Wow. Interesting.
yes.
So they're not harmful to us or pets or anything.
No.
How about plants, trees, gardens, tomato plants especially?
Tomato plants, they will leave your tomato plants
Good.
alone. They'll leave your squash plants alone.
Okay,
so
good.
it'll be fine. They do prefer hardwoods. They
Okay.
do not like plants that have sap. So pine trees, pine seedlings aren't going to be at risk. However, if you've planted a hardwood or ornamental shrub or bush that has that pencil thick green wood,
Okay.
then that is going to be what the females are going to be looking to lay their eggs in. And so they'll be in large oak trees, 100-foot oak trees, they'll be in the little seedlings and saplings. And so if you've planted those seedlings or saplings, you might want to take some control measures or extra measures.
How can we do that?
That's a good question, and I say that spraying is not going to be the answer to this. Mechanical barriers such as bird netting, you can purchase it, and bird netting is reusable. So this isn't a one-time situation, but you can purchase bird netting or floating row covers. If you already have those, just be careful with the row covers. The tree might get really hot. So that's why I prefer the bird netting. And it'll prevent the female from landing or getting to that wood to oviposit.
That's right.
But again, it's not 100%. Nothing is.
Right, nothing is.
But spraying a tree won't prevent them from landing on it and taking that first action. So I prefer, they don't touch my $200 weeping crepe myrtle or weeping cherry tree or more. Yeah, so
that's true. Will it kill the tree or just damage it temporarily?
If it's a larger tree, like the oak trees or the larger ornamentals, it will cause flagging, which means wherever they oviposit, the branch might break and cause a little brown waving flag.
Okay.
And so that's it's called flagging. If it's one of those more susceptible trees, it might ding it pretty badly. But again, if you don't hear the cicadas and you don't see the cicadas, your risk is low for that tree.
Okay.
So, and they're not going to pick all of that one type of tree.
Okay.
But that's what they're going to be looking for.
Wow. Now you mentioned if we hear them, what is their sound? I mean, I kind of know what it sounds like.
Yes,
I think.
well, I'm not going to try to make this sound.
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to.
But your viewers are probably familiar with the annual cicada. And so that same kind of vibrating noise that you hear up in the tree, it's going to be that same sound, but hundreds of them. And in more general locations. The males of the species have an organ called a timbal, and so they vibrate the timbal to make that sound. And then everybody hears it, and so the other males come in, and then they start competing with each other because that's what they do. And then all the girl cicadas are like, "Oh, that's great! I know where to go." And so the females then fly in. The females don't make any sound, but they have an ear, an insect ear called a tympanum, and that's how they are able to locate where the boys are. So, and they get really loud. Some of them can go up to 100 decibels.
Oh, goodness.
A motorcycle, I believe, is 85 decibels.
Oh,
so
goodness.
some of these, for prolonged periods, if you have one of these cicada calling leks or colonies, and you need to go out for a long period of time, you might want to think about wearing ear protection, but it's not going to be all day. It's going to be kind of sporadic. But
okay, is it at night or just all the different
it'll
times?
be throughout the day, but they get tired, and so
I
insects,
do too.
If you're doing anything for a long period of time, they're going to take a break. It's not going to be
not continuous,
day.
24 hours.
Yes, yeah. And
well,
but it'll happen, and when the insects warm up, in the morning the sun will start hitting them. They'll start waking up, and then they'll start singing and calling the girls in. And
wow, I'm still a little bit creeped out a little bit, but I'm excited too. This will be neat. In fact, I read about cicadas. I have to plug some of our books. We have some books about cicadas. Cicadas Sing Song, and then cicadas, if you want to learn a little bit more about the insects, what they look like. I was interested to see this. Now, do they all look alike? Similar.
Similar. The periodical cicada, which is the one we're going to be experiencing, looks exactly like that picture on the book.
Okay, yeah.
And that's a great picture. It's if you think about the size of your thumb, it's maybe half the size of your thumb.
Okay, yeah.
Orange wings, red eyes. That's the periodical cicada. The annual cicada, which we have every year, is larger, so the whole length of your thumb.
Oh, okay.
And it has clear greenish wings and a dark green body. And so it's a separate species from the periodical cicada. The annual cicada is the one we hear every summer.
Right.
Later in the summer, August, July, kind of the dog day cicada. So, but everybody should know that those guys are harmless too. So they're not going to, overrun us.
They're not going to invade my home and all this kind of stuff.
No, they might be on the side of your building because that's where they crawled up. Because you might have an old oak tree next to your building,
Well, that is interesting. I've learned so much. We're going to pause for another commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Meredith.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Silicaga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room, to surgery, to cancer treatment, to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Silicaga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
There's a lot in life to smile about. Are loose dentures or missing teeth keeping you from enjoying the things you love? Don't miss out on enjoying life's precious moments. You can be you again with affordable mini dental implants. You can smile again, laugh out loud, and have your self-confidence back. Let us help you make it memorable.
I'm Dr. Rick Redmond. Call me today for a free consultation and give me the opportunity to change your life.
The all-new Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our remodeled and expanded pharmacy gives us the space to serve more patients. We've added a drive-through window for those times when you don't feel like getting out of your vehicle. And we still offer delivery within city limits. We feature a full line of over-the-counter medications and supplements. And don't forget our stunning new gift department. New building, same great people. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Hello, welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Meredith Shrader, an entomologist from Auburn University. We're talking about the cicadas that will be here, they're here every year, I know, a few, but this is the brood that will be here around the end of April, depending on the weather. Yes. I guess a swarm, maybe that's not a swarm, they do fly though.
Yes, they are quite good flyers, yes.
I'm excited, a little bit scared, but now that I think they're all going to be here, what eats cicadas?
Cicadas are eaten by everything. A lot of different things will eat them.
Okay.
You have birds that will come in and eat them.
Okay.
Cats, dogs.
Wow.
Anything that needs
Snakes?
a snack. Oh yes, snakes. That's a good point.
Okay.
Is that even snakes will be eating these guys. It's just a variable insect buffet, and the snakes might be in places that you wouldn't normally think of them being, because they might not be able to get to them in the tree, but when the cicadas start to die or fall off the tree or become incapacitated and start littering the ground, then you might start seeing snakes in areas where they wouldn't normally be. So just, or they might be out during times that they wouldn't normally be.
Okay.
So just a little awareness, goes a long way.
Yes, look for snakes. If everything eats them, how are there still any left?
Well, it's the pattern of the mass emergence. Okay. So when you have all of these millions of insects coming out and it's a buffet, even your neighborhood cat gets full, and they'll start ignoring them. They'll say, "I'm full. I don't want any more."
Okay.
And so you'll start seeing, a progression where everybody will be really interested in eating them at first and going after every single cicada that comes into their yard. But then after a couple days, that won't be.
They're full.
They're full. Enough. They've had enough. And so that's a really good reproductive strategy, so that you overwhelm the enemy. And then you sacrifice a few hundred or thousand, and then the multitude that's left, is there to do what they need to do. So, and that's why every 13 years we still have this mass amounts of insects that come out, because a majority of them did survive. And even when the nymphs hatch and are going into the ground, moles eat the nymphs in the ground. You have funguses that will attack the nymphs in the ground, and so there's some control that happens, but it doesn't put a dent in the population.
Wow.
But yes.
I can't wait to see
yes,
it. From inside my home, I want to look out the window
and see the multitude, and I've even been seeing online where people are having recipes for this.
Oh,
so I'm not going to be. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be eating the
but
cicadas.
You can.
But you can if you want to. But they're just not much to them, and they have wings, and so you have to pull the wings off to even get. So it's not something. But if you want to try, the internet is your oyster. You can find recipes galore.
Oh, goodness. How long does this take place? I know the nymphs come up from the ground, and how long will they be here?
It's really a short-lived insect for as long as it's been in the ground. They will only be here for 6 to 8 weeks. So think of it as, the proverbial bell-shaped curve, right? You have them starting in a little bit, and then a whole lot, and then it tapers off. So Not all of them will emerge on a given
Right.
date. It'll be kind of, a week-long
Okay,
emergence,
yeah.
and then, but after a week, they all should be, when it starts.
Right, when it
then
starts.
they all should be there. So.
Because the ground is warm enough and all
Yeah,
the conditions
that
are
trigger, that temperature trigger hits,
Yeah.
and then they all start. But some places are in the shade, some places are in direct
that's true.
sunlight, and so.
Does that matter to them? Shade, sun, they need water, or like see
not
more at
when
the
they're-
lake or at the creek?
No, just if you have a newly developed HOA or housing section
Okay.
that they got rid of all the trees and disturbed the ground, the ones that were there probably got killed. So if you're in a new residential area, that you're probably not going to see much. But if you have older trees or an older neighborhood that was there 13 years ago and previously, again, they've been popping out for a long time. You might see more,
see
but.
some. That's funny. I've been in my home for almost 27 years, and I do remember seeing the exoskeletons on the pine trees and thinking, "Oh, that's I wonder what that is."
Yeah,
Probably 13 years ago.
Probably,
when I think
yes,
about it.
probably. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, wow. Well, I am just excited a little bit.
Yes.
I know people like you are just really excited and can't wait, I bet.
Yes, and this is a good teaching opportunity for
yes.
children and get them interested in insects and it's an impressive thing to see all of this happening and it's like the solar eclipse that happened. That won't
Yes.
happen again for a long time. So 13 years,
It's a great chance
take
to
lots
learn.
of pictures and
Yeah.
learn about entomology and become maybe a little less fearful.
That's true. That's probably what I need to do. Well, I'm very excited. I did read your article. There was an article where they talked to you on al.com. It'll be fun.
It will be fun. It'll be great.
Oh, I know you're excited. That is neat. Okay, they should come. We've got about a minute left. They should come out maybe end of April, 1st of May, sometime in there.
Somewhere around there,
Be
depending
looking for
on
it.
temperatures. So
Right.
don't hold me to that, but that's the general consensus.
Right. The weather, we never know.
Yeah.
You do not have to be afraid of them. Just know that there may be snakes or other things in places where they're normally not.
Yep,
'Cause they're
trying
feeding on
to get in on the buffet.
Oh, wow. Well, that is so exciting. I appreciate you driving all the way up from Auburn to be here and talk about this. This is so fun. And I'd encourage you, like she said, it's a good chance to teach your children. We have some books about cicadas. There's plenty of stuff online that you can read about them. And so this will be fun. I look forward to it. Thank you, Meredith, for coming and joining me today.
you.
And
Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us on Library Connection.